So reveal yourself as we sing, yeah. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place, and sweet Spirit of the Father, you are welcome. You alone of the Father. So sing it. Holy Spirit, alone of the let me draw out of the wells of your ancient mysteries. Let the floodgates of your heaven, Lord, be open unto me, that I may behold your very awesome wonder. Lift up your hands. Says, let me draw out of the wells of your ancient knees to man be open. That's our prayer tonight. Say, let the floodgates of your heavens, Lord, be open unto me, that I may behold your very awesome wonder. Say, that I may see, that I may hear. Say, that I may feel your atmosphere, that I may know you, may hear, that I may feel your atmosphere, that I you say may see, that here's the part I like. Say, say, you're as silent and still as the midnight. You're the one who can kill and can make alive. You'd bring violence and still it would be right. Cause you're the one who can see and will judge right. The one who can kill and can make alive. You're the one who can kill. You're as silent and still. Yeah. You bring violence and stuff. Yeah. You bring violence and still, Lord. Yeah. Say you're as May we not stay. Father, we have come to touch your glory.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone. I want to believe you can hear me. All right, I want to believe you all can hear me. Good evening to you. And I'm super excited to have everybody here. I'm super excited to have you being a part of what we are doing today. It's an exciting time to be alive. I'm just excited. I'm just excited. I want to say welcome to every one of you. I can see a few of you already. I can see Amaka. I can see Deborah. I can see Toby. I can see Kumi on the chat. I really want to encourage every one of you to take advantage of the chat here to ask your questions, push conversations, and let's just have a very good time, right? I want you guys to do something for me. I want you to quickly let me know where you're joining from, whether you're joining from Lagos, you're joining from Enugu, you're joining from Port Harcourt, you're joining from London, or maybe even the UK. Okay, well, London, UK, the US, or Canada, wherever you're joining from. Just put it on the chat. The chats, yes, so we can really just know where everybody is chatting or joining us from. I want to say that this is going to be a great time. It's going to be a very amazing experience for every one of us. I'm super excited to see what Samuel has to offer. Samuel is a very smart person. I met him a number of times, and then for some other times I've had to listen to him. I remember some few events that I've attended that he has been a part of, and he has had the opportunity to talk, and he just shows how uh, bright, intelligent, and driven he is as a person. And I think I want every other person here to see that part of him. All right, so I'm just going to check the chat. Amazing, good stuff. Um, Barnabas from Benin City, thank you so much, Barnabas. Adi Dunyi from Kwara, thank you for joining us. Amaka from Ogun State, amazing. Wanchuku from Ijebu, sorry, Oshogo, all right, thank you for joining us. Ninti from Ogun State, thank you as well for joining us. Lagos, Nigeria, Samuel, thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited to have you guys here. So it's going to be a great time. And just in a minute, I would bring Samuel up. I'll just a brief about a brief bio of Samuel, and then we'll go ahead and have a wonderful conversation. But I want to tell you a little thing about what we are doing here, Oganiru. So I tell people Oganiru is a African native word that means make progress, move forward. And for us, it's about telling stories that will inspire other people to make progress, to move forward, and to build the future that we all desire. And for me, just checking the registration form, one of the columns we put, or one of the questions we asked people to answer was why or what do you want to build? And a lot of people came with their different thoughts. Some people said they wanted to build um, global businesses, which is amazing. Some people want to build a tech brand. Some people want to build a social impact venture. Some people want to build a community of people, and so many other reasons why people want to build. And for me, I think that if you bring all of this together, that's what makes for a better society. Consider that a good number of us here are Africans, and many of us here are Nigerians. It's I think it's an ideal place for us to come get inspired and take action, especially if you are in a country like Nigeria where it seems as though every single morning you wake up, there is one new thing that has been designed to ensure that you do not get to make the kind of progress you want to make, But there are people who live here, who grew here, who experience the same thing that we all experience, hiking for price, lack of power supply, and they're still able to build stuff that is making impact, not just in Nigeria, but globally. Whether it's the guy who is building, let me just jump in. For instance, next month we are bringing the CEO of Ready Technologies. He's also the CEO of Carry Africa. I'll tell you a bit about him when we are done with this, but he has been able to raise a grant of over $500,000, to make impacts in energy in Nigeria. And it's just amazing to see that even while people are in Nigerians with all their stories, some people are still doing extraordinary things. All right. So let's leave that for later and quickly jump into today's session. Okay, Toby from Ikorodu, thank you, my man. Thank you for joining this. So today we have an amazing person, and it goes by the name Samuel Iweibo. Well, I'm very careful to pronounce his name. But yeah, Samuel is a skilled senior product designer with a portfolio that spans several industries, including logistics, fintech, and digital marketing. He currently works at Scaleo, a digital product agency, which is involved in designing high-level user experiences for various clients and projects. His role as Scaleo includes creating impactful user interfaces and refining digital product. Now, this is like what he does, like, let's say 9 to 5 now. This is where the next set of bio I'm going to read about him are some of the incredible stuff he's doing by building products and initiatives that's really like changing the narrative around here, right? He's the co-founder of the Odo, an event aimed at fostering collaboration and innovation within the entrepreneurial ecosystem. It's part of a series of startup-centric events that bring together entrepreneurs, innovators, and professionals to network and engage and exchange ideas. These events provide a platform for emerging startups to present their ideas, gain insights from industry experts, and explore potential partnership and investment opportunities. Now, one of the things I like about the Audio is that you see when you go on Instagram or you go on Twitter and you see those big product design guys, the big graphic design guys, the big strategies guys in Lagos. Someone has found a way to always bring them to one spot every single month to share ideas and to learn, right? I don't know I did that. I'm sure when we're having conversations with him, he will explain to us how he managed to put some of the biggest wigs in Lagos together every single month to come and share their ideas with all the people he has, just so amazing what he's doing. Now, another part of what Samuel does is the one I really do love so much. It's called Triplex, all right? So Triplex is one of Samuel's brainchild. It's a fintech company with a vision of building meant for Africa. So basically what he's doing is to create a platform that allows the young people to personally manage their finance in a very effective way. It's more like a budgeting app, and he's doing a lot with some of these ideas. All right, so with a shouting ovation, with a scream, I want you to welcome on board, for the first time, because I believe there's going to be a second time. Samuel, can you just show him some love on the chat? Show him some love. How are you doing, Samuel? Good to have you here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Samuel. Well, okay. I'll say good evening from Ogun State. I don't know where you're talking from. I know probably Lagos or South Africa or UK.
Good evening from Lagos.
All right. Amazing. Nice Lagos today.
Lagos is Lagosing as usual, but yeah, it's pretty good. Just a chill day.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so let's quickly jump into it. Before we start, I just want to see what people are saying. Okay, I can see the screen. I wish you can as well. I don't know if you can. I'm supposed to send you that link. So exactly this. Okay, I will find a way to send the link to you so that you just open it on the other device and see how people are screaming on the chat. All right, thank you so much for
Thank you so
joining
much,
us
guys.
again. Thank you, thank you. You said what?
Thank you. I said thank you to everyone. It's such an
All
honor to
right.
be here.
All right, let's go into it. Right, I just want to start from the beginning. You know, maybe I should just give you room to tell us about yourself, being a product designer, your product design journey, building triplets, and gathering all the smartest, well, some of the smartest minds in Lagos, young folks doing extraordinary stuff at the Odo. Tell us about you, Samuel.
Okay, so I don't even know where to start from, but I would say everybody knows my name, right, as of now. So I'm Samuel. Um, I guess over the time, my title has evolved. At some point, I thought I wanted to be a musician, transitioned, into design. Started off as a graphic designer, scaled into product design. And right now, we just say I'm just an innovator, pretty much building, solutions as much as I can. Um, so I guess huddle is one thing, triplex is one thing. My life as a product designer is one thing. But how that all came together, I would say, it was from some certain foundational experiences that I had, at an early stage in my teenage years. That was pretty much having the access to, attend the boot camp on the redemption camp put together by an awesome person called, Pastor Femi Tunde. And, that was pretty much the foundation of where it started from. I was also exposed to something called a product office or a project office, so to say, where there were always just different innovations being built per time, right? And, being in such spaces, right, sets to set, a starting stage for wherever you tend to go. So in as much as all these awesome things are happening now, it started from a foundational experience of being able to be impacted through a digital boot camp. Also just being in an environment of constant ideas being built, and I believe that we're also familiar with what I'm speaking about, right? Um, and then also got access to be amongst some very awesome people um, throughout different stages of my career, and each person has just impacted me in various ways. If I start to mention names, we won't get out of here, but the most important thing has just been like the foundational journey really sets a start to all the things I'm doing today. And I think like as we move on, I'll be able to go into triplex and the huddle much later.
All right, thank you so much. And I really, really, I can really relate because talking about the fact that, well, I have some funny pictures of you. I can't post them here. Yeah?
Oh, right.
Where you be like, if you put, the Esther really bleached.
Oh my God.
The Esther. Tell me about the time when Esther did not bleach, when Esther was yet to bleach, and it was.
I know.
Okay, so let me just jump into the next question I want to ask you. Now, thinking about your story, I'm talking about the fact that you've had like people who over time have helped to shape your story, right? It wasn't just about you, it was about the fact that you're in the right place, you met the right people, and those people played their part to ensure that you got some of the things you got, and then you did what you need to do to get where you are today, which is really pretty amazing. I want to ask, so I knew about the Future Clan. I also know that early this year, last year, they trained 8,000 people. And I have a good number of persons here who want to do great stuff, who want to do amazing stuff, and sometimes it just one of the questions we tell ourselves is, I'm not equipped enough, right? I'm not. I need to learn this. I need to do that. I need to be this. I need to be that. And then there are like thousands of free programs out there that could help them gain these skills. And I think there's a popular mindset that people are where they feel like if it's free, then it's not good enough. Do you think that's a fact, or from your own point of view, where you have probably had to be part of a free training that like set the path for you? Do you think it's something people should embrace? Um, let's hear you talk about that.
Okay, so that's actually a very good question, and I think that it's really important to shed light on what is free, right? When something is free, and then also speak to what we call quality training experiences. So, like I mentioned, I had the opportunity to attend a free digital bootcamp. It was free, we didn't pay,
Yes.
right? But the level of excellence that bootcamp was at, you know, was substantial to if we were to pay, it would be a very expensive boot camp, right? We
Wow.
had like the best of the best instructors. So it wasn't, just random people, right? The people that organized that boot camp put in, the work to make sure that each person that, came to impact knowledge was at the best, you know, in their career, right? And they were, all doing awesome things. So it wasn't just getting somebody with a title, but not with evidence, or not with the required experience to pass down knowledge. So I would say like the challenge right now is there are so many trainings happening in Nigeria, right? And not a lot of those trainings have that time, or they don't put in that extra time to provide excellence for people that are going to be undertaking those trainings, right? So the challenge right now with free trainings is because it is free, some specific places are not putting in as much thought. So you're bringing somebody who has maybe 5 months, in product design to come and teach people on product design, right? You're bringing someone who is also trying to just get together his career to teach people, trying to also get together their career. I believe that the real foundation when it comes to knowledge being passed down is in levels, right? If you're going to bring somebody to teach somebody in level one, you're not going to bring somebody in level 1.5, right? Now it's good. Somebody in level 1.5 is still a bit ahead, but someone in level 2 or level 3 would have made all the mistakes in level 1 that is enough to teach people in level 1, right? As opposed to bringing somebody in level 1 who just seems to be a bit better than other people in level 1, and saying these are like your instructors. So I believe that free um, courses or free foundations are always good. I would say like if you're going to do a free course, if it's going to be local, right, you kind of have to also do your research. So just because it's free doesn't mean it should not be, what's the right word to use here? It shouldn't be of value to you. So people always try to connect free with little to no value, right? If something is free, it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be of value to you. So it should be of value to you. There are a lot of free international courses out there. There's YouTube with a lot of videos. I mean, we have the huddle where these are people that you can't really get to be in, lots of rooms sitting down to teach people. You can always go to the huddle's YouTube channel, and stream those videos, right? So free information is everywhere, but in terms of like trainings, I believe that, you as a person who wants to undergo a training, you have to have a goal, right? So you can't just sign up for trainings and expect, the training to perform magic. Because I think that's another problem, right? People apply for trainings and say, oh, because of this training, I should get a job, right? Or because of this training, I should be an expert in this. But it all matters in terms of like the amount of work you put in to really bring out value, from whatever you're undergoing. So you could even go for a paid training event or a training program where they even bring the best instructors, and you actually have zero value because you personally you didn't attach goals to that training, at the same time you aren't really ready to put in the work, to take in those information and pretty much practicalize it. So I guess one, in Nigeria today, we do have a lot of training, some that I feel that are a bit premature, not necessarily put together in the right standard to be able to, upskill people in those trainings. But at the same time, whoever is going for training should pretty much have goals, and you should be able to access the training that you're applying to see if it meets those goals. But let me also put this out there, right? When I went for the digital bootcamp training, I had zero goals. You know, I just knew that, I feel like I mentioned, having people in different stages of my life that has just served as a, beacon of light to direct me to different things, even when I wasn't so interested, or I didn't have so much interest or understanding or even knowledge about them, really helped. Um, but at the same time, it was pretty much what I did with that information after I was in that setting, right? So don't feel too pressured. If you don't necessarily have a goal, doesn't mean that you shouldn't apply for those trainings. But over time, I've seen that when you attach a goal to it, it makes it more effective, because then you're able to practicalize a lot of those things. Some of those things, it took me a while to actually realize what I was taught there and to actually practicalize them, because then I then now had goals and I could clearly see, okay, these goals were attached to a lot of things I've learned, and I was then able to use them in like day-to-day operations.
All right, thank you so much. That's pretty much amazing. I think you've said a lot, and I just had to like write a lot of stuff, and a lot of questions just pop in my head. One thing you said that was really very significant for me was that, of course, you attended trainings that were free, but the quality of those trainings were top notch. And thinking about the fact that we have people here who want to build. Some people want to build community. Some people want to build social impact projects. And it's easy to say because I'm doing something for free, right? You don't want to put so much effort and all of that. And even when the people want to build global businesses and all of that, I just want you to like emphasize more about putting excellence in your work. And I want you to think about this from the other. Now, I see pictures from the other. I've always tried to. The last time I wanted to come for the other, I was like, I checked the location. It was on the island. And I was like, Emeka, before you would go to the island and come back, but I still plan to attend. And I see the SNS you put. I don't know how much you rent that space, but I know it's a top space on the island. You know, the fact that the quality of people you bring to come talk. Every time I see someone that comes there and I'm able to find that person's name on Instagram, I go to their page, I see what they do, and I'm like, gosh, where's Samuel finding these guys from? Is as though every day are searching for the very best people to come speak at the other. So I want you to talk to some of the guys here who plan to build, right? And they want to build, but
Yeah.
if they, yeah, how do they build excellently? Something that would really just be distinct and make quality impact in the lives of the people they are building for.
All right, all right. So okay, so I would put, first of all, I also co-found the huddle, right? I run the huddle with an amazing person called David James Udo. You should check him out. He's such an awesome, you know, I would say David is a multidisciplinary designer. He does everything. Such an excellent person, right? So I'll start by saying, when you want to build stuffs of impact, right, you need to partner with excellent people that, you know, provide strength in your areas of weakness, right? So I have a standard, right, personally, but then to build something that is as as beautiful as what we have with the huddle, right? there are elements that come from myself, there are elements that come from David that puts together a whole, and which is what we have, in the huddle. But I'll say this, right? If you have to build something, and speaking to people that want to organize more social impact solutions or create more social impact solutions, I think the first thing you need to do is understand what exactly are the current challenges, right? When the idea of the huddle came, right, the first person that came to mind in terms of execution was to speak to David. And this is because we've worked together on stuff. I have partnered with David on so many minimal things, even triplex, right? So it's somebody that's always been part of my life when it comes to I want to scale or I want to do something that is just top notch, because he's also a very high level thinker, right? So even if I'm thinking on 100, David is ready to take it to 200, So we're always just, thinking way ahead, right? Um, Now, in terms of the people that we've brought to the huddle, I think the most substantial thing has been relationship. Um, we've had people who have come to the huddle. Some of the speakers that we had on the huddle, we got them when they actually came for the event, right? So they came for a huddle event in a month, and then we told them, you're going to do this, you're going to be on the huddle, and that's how we do it. Some are also from relationships, even from like past speakers, either through David's circle of network or through my circle of network. But it's been relationship, right? And I would say um, why we have a standard of excellence is because it's not just something we do in the huddle, right? There's something, you know, myself and someone special to me. We always say that our taste is high, so it's not just in the huddle. Like we have very very high taste, right? And I think it shows in everything you do. If you're somebody who wants to do the barest minimum, you would always do the barest minimum. If you're somebody who wants to always do something that is excellent, you will strive to do something that is excellent. But in as much as that, I wouldn't attribute the entire excellence to myself. I will tell you that the excellence cuts across not just myself, like I mentioned, who I'm partnered with in doing the huddle, David, and also like every other person who plays a role in the huddle, the guys that are doing the production, you know, different people, even the people that attend, right, are also part of the success we have, right? We've had people who just by their attendance, has made the event evolve, right, towards what it is today. So I think one, it's really important to have an excellent mindset and then also partner with somebody who has an excellent mindset. Now, what people do is when you have like a very um, beautiful vision, there's always that sense of because it's your vision, you think you can do it by yourself. And you can have a vision, right? But at the end of the day, it takes, my pastor will say something that, it takes men to pretty much bring visions to life, right? You can conceive something, you can have something in your mind, but it takes the gift of men. If you build a business today, if people are not patronizing you, that idea, no matter how fantastic it is, it's not proven to work because you haven't got people to actually validate that, right? So I guess like it's just been like the circle of people that have been around while building the huddle, and through their different contribution, right? It has it has helped us to attain what we have today, right? And also, our discipline to excel. And I think like even in terms of like the speakers that we bring, right? The huddle is very key on what you have to show. And it's not really based off of names, right? So it's not based off of, oh, this person is cool and everybody's shouting, oh, this person, right? That's not our focus. Our focus is not really on who you are, but it's what you have to offer, right? It's value. The huddle is meant to provide value, right? And if we're not bringing people who are going to bring that value, so even down to the speakers, you see that the speakers put in a lot of work to provide that excellence, right? Which is what you see on YouTube, what you experience when you attend the huddle physically. And if you haven't attended the huddle before, please We have our registration link, on our IG bio. You should definitely attend the huddle. I think second thing is, for me, don't do something that you can't benefit from. And this is not monetary benefits, right? As you know, like, we don't ask people to pay to attend the huddle or anything, but it's really like, because you organize something doesn't mean it can't impact you. I will tell you that there are huddle sessions that, as people are seated, and they're mind blown by what the speaker is talking about. And it's the same way I'm seated and I'm like, oh my God, I'm learning, right? So it's not something that is just, just for other people. Like, it's also impacting me, right? And because it's also impacting me, it's also impacting all the people there. There's a level of excellence you attach, right? It's just the same way if you would pay to do an MBA, right? It's the same way if I'm bringing, if we're doing the huddle, right? It has to be something that I am also excited at, being there. Some people organize social events, and once the event is going on, they feel too sophisticated to either like listen or be impacted or get knowledge from it, because they're seeing themselves above what they're building, right? So I guess, like, if your social impact cannot impact you, then I don't think it can impact other people, right? So if you can't say that what you're doing has, some level of value to you as a person, it's not going to motivate you to do it for other people, because no matter how much people are excited, you alone can feel what you feel inside of yourself. And I think that that's where, the strive for excellence, is.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot has been said already. Um, and just thinking about the fact that you have an amazing community, you built something that's very incredible. And now you've gotten to that point where um, you probably don't even go need to scout out for somebody to speak. You have very incredible people, the best guys coming to your own events, and then sometimes you just say, "Oh, guy, based on what we want to achieve this month, we think you're like the right fit," and then they come and they talk, right? Incredible. I just want us to link that up to the importance of building the right community for yourself. I want to build right. I want to do great stuff. I was making a joke with someone a while back, I think a few days back, and I said the governor of Edo State, the current governor of Edo State, Obaseki, supported somebody to be governor, Ashre Godalo. And if you look at the backstory behind it is the fact that they were in school together. They knew
Yeah.
themselves on campus, and Obaseki ended up being in I think more of the banking sector, finance sector. Godal found his way into law, and then found his way into finance and all of that. And if he had won, two friends would have probably ruled the same state and all of that. And for me, it's about the fact that these guys built a relationship for over 20, 30 years, and it led to one becoming governor and the other nearly winning the governorship election of the same state and all of that. So I just want you to emphasize the importance of, because I know people here who live in multiple cities, somebody who lives in Benin, Onisha, or wherever they stay, and they feel like, I don't think I have the right community. I don't think I'm open to the kind of, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to be the social impact project, but everybody around here doesn't think it can work. What's your advice to such a person who, at this particular point, they don't think they have the right community that can help them achieve their dream, and it seems as though they are running a solo race?
Okay. So I'll first, speak to community. I think that's also another thing that is very saturated in our part of Africa today, right? I think I would start by saying a community is not the essence of a community is not a WhatsApp group or a Slack channel or a Telegram group. As we are as Huddle, we do not have a WhatsApp, Slack, nothing, right? But we do have a community, right? So how do you one build a community? I think, and then the next thing would be, how do you find a community that fits you? When we started the huddle, one of the things that myself and David discussed was, we had a growing, would I say, a growing concern, which is we wanted to be part of something. We wanted to socialize with people in our um, industry. For me particularly, man, I was just always in my house working. I had cool friends and all, but I wanted to, be um, amongst like people in my industry, and also just understand what are other people doing outside of my, four walls, right? Um, and then when you think about it, you think about if you're building a community, one of the things you have to have in mind is that usually you would draw like-minded people, right? Just the way like there are churches, and like organizations and all that, right? They kind of like draw people that of like mind, in thinking, right? There are other people who also want to be part of something awesome. They're within their own four walls. There are people that are like, oh, I won't see what other people are doing here, and that literally, came together to become what we have today, right? A lot of people that we've had in the huddle have said the same thing, like, yo, these things that you guys are doing, man, I've always wanted something like this. And obviously, it's not like we got those information before we started, right? But I feel like um, if you're doing something that is of value, and I can't stress that enough, right? We didn't just start a community because we wanted to have people gather together, right? We didn't want to start a community because we wanted to do a conference of people or stuff like that. It was just from a growing concern, and we set out to do that. We planned the huddle in 2 weeks. There's no huddle event that myself and David would be on calls 3 weeks. I'm maybe almost like a week to the event. It's like, yo, oh yeah, it's almost time, and then we're good, right? We've never had to, and that's just the honest truth about it, right? Because when the focus is on value, we're not really trying to build a community that community leaders are, all those kind of things. Because I feel like a lot of people just want to have people that they can control and just say, oh, these are my community members, and then they're like, president general, I think that the most important thing is if you're building a community, it has to be of value to the people in the community, right? And a community doesn't start until like-minded people gravitate towards each other. Then that can then now scale into, oh, for us, the huddle is every third Thursday. That third Thursday of people coming together is our, that's our own WhatsApp group or Slack channel,
Yeah.
right? People don't leave the huddle till like we finish the event in an hour or an hour plus. People
Of
are
course,
there till
yeah.
like 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., just talking, just that's perfect. We're not trying to everybody is Slack channel, let's be talking every day and stuff like that. Now it works for other people depending on what exactly your community is trying to achieve,
Achieve.
right?
Yeah.
But you don't just create a Slack channel and just gather people into somewhere with no, clear thoughts. One of the vision of that community, two of the value that those people are going to get. Because that's why communities just gather people and then people just join another community. You hear people say, oh, they're in 10 communities. If your community really has value, right? People can be in 10 communities because community work, is a lot, right? The huddle is going to evolve to we had the huddle in Ghana, right?
Yeah.
And people in Ghana came. This is not like, oh, I mean the huddle was running in Nigeria, right? But like what I mentioned, like-minded people who also, have seen that thing, that vision, and like this resonates with me, will gravitate towards it. So I think like it's really important to really ascertain what the value is of your community, and I think also in terms of finding the right community, I feel like people join communities for the wrongest reasons, right?
Mm.
One, most times people join communities for, I guess, they want to feel among, and maybe they feel like, this is the happening community, right? also, like I mentioned, people don't join communities necessarily, in search of value, and that's why they always feel void, right? Because you're in a community where it's just a WhatsApp group. You're in five other WhatsApp groups, same industry, same everything. They're just posting links, no interaction, like, or they do just a simple webinar. It just looks redundant, right? So I think, like, when you choose to join a community, you have to first of all ask yourself, right? The people in this community, are we like-minded? Now, don't when you say like-minded, it's from two angles. It's either the current state of mind you are in, right? Or the state of mind you want to be in. So when you gravitate towards something, it's either like, oh, this community, for example, they have a lot of people that are, where I want to be, and it would be great to, just be amongst them, hear what they are talking about, see the things that they share as their insights, and learn from it, right? Or you want to be amongst people who are on the same level with you, like-minded people, just and where you can interact, share problems together, resonate on things together, and build from there. So I think, like, if you're going to join a community, I think you shouldn't really focus on buzz, because when you focus on buzz, right, it's just like you're in a community where there are already 3,000 people in a group, and you just join, and you understand, like, it's going to be a lot to really break out there and stuff like that. So I think, like, people should more or less focus on the value they want to get from the community, and also the value you want to give, right? There are a lot of people in the huddle who have supported us in so many ways, right? And when I say support, because when people hear support, is monetary support that comes to mind. I'm talking about just pure love. When we went to Ghana, people came to Ghana from Nigeria. You can't you can't fake that kind of sense of community, right? And it's not built solely based on having a Telegram channel or a WhatsApp group. It's built solely on value for value. I have people that just walk up to me after the huddle and say, "Guy, you guys give us so much value. What can we give back to you guys?" And my man, I'm like, just you saying this, is enough validation, it's enough encouragement, to keep going with what we're doing, right? So I think, like, most importantly, building a community or joining a community is really value, right? Because if it's of no value to you, you're pretty much not going to experience anything from it.
Thank you so much. I think you've said a lot on this. In fact, I think I have a lot of questions about the audio, and a few other questions I want to ask. But I want us to play on that word value, and the reason is because I think I love the way we did the form, and they were able to ask people to say, what do you want to build? So it's not just about attending a building event. What do you want to build? Of course, there are people who say, I don't know yet what I want to build. And like you said, it's completely fine. There's no issues with that. You can just be in the right space, in the right community. At the right time, you probably will discover what you can build or what you can become, and all of that, which is amazing. But for those who already know what they want to build, whether it's a business, a tech startup like maybe Triplex, for instance, how do you build, right? How do you go ahead and start up, not just because the next big thing is fintech, or
Yeah,
everybody's a tech bro now, or everybody's this, everybody's that, because you want to give actual value.
yeah,
You want to solve a real problem. I want you to talk to people, because it's easy for people to say, I want to build a global brand. It's easy for people to say, I want to, because like you said, a lot of people, like, it's a natural thing for us to want to be famous, known. We want to be the people everybody see on TV, the popular guy, or whatever it is, or the next Bill Gates, or wherever it is, but those guys who are there offer real value. So it would be stupid for people to just start up a project without thinking about value, and then 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, they realize that they wasted their life, wasted their time building something that really never added value the people that they are building for. So I want you to talk to people about the fact that if you want to build, whether it's a business, whether it's a social part venture, whether you're thinking about going into tech, whether you want to begin to build something for yourself, even on your career path, right? What should you be looking at for? What are the most important things to look at for when you want to set out on a project?
Okay, so I think I'll start by something my pastor says, right? Pastor Ayo Ajani, such an awesome man. He says, don't strive to be seen, strive to see, right? And that statement is so profound, right? And I'll give an illustration. So I don't know if so clay, people that make stuff out of clay, right? Now clay is the raw material, and you can form clay into so many things, right? But you see, when you're forming the clay, you can start up forming a vase, right? Still tear down that same clay, form a plate, still tear down that same clay, form a cup, right? And that's pretty much how it is when you're building products. When myself and my co-founder Israel, again, partnerships with excellent people would help you so much. When myself and Israel started building triplex, it didn't start as triplex. So when people say, oh, you want to build fintech or you want to build, I think, like, first of all, you need to kind of understand what you want to solve for. Like, what problem do you want to solve? Then in researching, in trying to understand the problem, and trying to start to flesh out what the solution can be, it may tilt you towards your industry. There's something in the startup world where VCs would always tell you that as a founder, you should always be ready to pivot. You should always be ready to either revamp, rebuild, reposition. Right? You should never be too rigid in, if it's not like this, I'm not ever changing. It must be like this. Everybody must take this exactly this, right? So the same way, like I mentioned with the clay, right? You can start up with a vase, and then the idea just forms in you and say, no, this should be a plate, and you just bring down that clay. So when we started with a startup called Residently. That was what we wanted to build. And our sole goal for Residently was a co-living platform. So people who are renting apartments together, like you are three in an apartment, and the problem of people who rent, like, guys, now you're four guys in one 4-bedroom apartment. There's always somebody that would just have to be that class captain, right? And the problem is, when you are the class captain, everybody has to send money, which means you're the one that has to push everybody. Guys, our rent, oh, guys, oh, NEPA bill, oh, guys, oh, this thing just spoiled, oh, we need to repair it. So and that thing is so stressful, right? And that was where we started from, and we started building. So we started building out, so it helped from the process of finding an apartment, to sharing expenses together. Now, just stay on that sharing expenses, because just have that in mind. Sharing expenses together, home expenses together. Being able to purchase stuff, and the idea was so huge. But then we looked at it. First challenge, if you want to do anything tech in real estate, is it's crazy. The guys that are still doing it, prop tech, they are trying, right? It's not a fully digitalized landscape. And we started to streamline and streamline and streamline, and that was how we got to triplex. Now, we took one part of what we were building in Residently, and repositioned that into the product that we have as triplex, where it's automating expenses, planning, and budgeting, right? You can pretty much put all your monthly expenses and automate that to where they are being paid to. And then we started to look at, unlike the kind of subscriptions that Nigerians subscribe to, is things like electricity, maybe somebody who is cooking for you monthly. Our own subscriptions are not really like how Oyibo people have it, apart from maybe like subscriptions to like Netflix and stuff like that. And most likely, you are paying those people through bank transfer. So every month, you want to send money to your mom. Those are subscriptions, right? You are sending money to your parents. You are sending, those are actual subscriptions. So you have to always try to, oh no, I forgot to, you're doing transfers, right? And stuff like that. And for someone like me who has a lot of things, or you're always just busy and occupied, you tend to forget those things. And sometimes you have delayed payments. And we started building triplex. We started with just being able to automate our expenses, right? And it really started from a problem that myself and Israel had. So we were actually users of our products, right? It didn't start from, oh, we don't want to build something that is big and get people to use, like something that really just solved a problem for us. And then we thought about it that, oh, this could actually work for other people. Then we started, and then you look at, we started from building a way to co-live, and manage everything in the co-living space together, to we then built a feature in triplex called payment pool, where four people could be in a payment pool and have different expenses being paid there. It could be, and when you have automated bank transfers, right, really, which is really seamless and stuff like that. So I guess like when you want to build, either a product idea or whatever you want to be, if you want to build something, right, it's like no matter how much um, an architect, right, wants to build a building, no matter how different those buildings may be, there are some fundamental standards that cut across all of them, which is land, right? So if you really put that in like real sense, it's like saying what exactly is the foundational essence. So you can see like even though we didn't build the core, platform and all that, but we're still core on what our vision is, and it's scaled into triplex. And even triplex again is taking another reformed approach, right? Because of when you're building for a volatile landscape as Nigeria, anything can change, right? The cost of things that went up so much made it difficult for anybody to have a monthly idea of what they want to be paying for NEPA bill, especially if you're in band A. From someone who, like for me now, I used to have like an exact amount, but now like this is based on how I use my AC. So there's so many things that might actually cause you to rethink your idea. I think that the most important thing is, don't be so be driven by your vision and purpose. But I think like in terms of execution, you always have to be open to re-experiment. But the most important thing is the foundational essence, like I mentioned, like the clay. As long as you're still molding with that clay, you can still mold something out of it. But at the end of the day, if you then now switch from clay to paper to now make the same plates, you understand? So I guess like I don't know if that answers it, but I think that's how best I can shed light on building product solutions. And I think also is the element of start with what you have. Most people think that you just start 2 seconds and somebody's going to give you $1 million. It doesn't start that way. So I think start with what you have. Don't think that what you have is too little. As simple as some people raise the most money with simple product ideas and they don't even build out an MVP, right? So start with what you have and just keep innovating from there. Am I still here?
Just wrap up on this. I'm just going to ask a few more questions I have here. Ask some questions that people put in earlier, and then those on Slido, and then we just call this a day. And it's really been amazing, guys. If you've been having a real quality time here, I want you to make some noise. I want you to make some noise on the chat. Just go there, give me some fire, give me some energy, and all of that. Let me see that. Let me see that. Let me see that on the chat. All right, I can see the love. Yeah, all right, all right, all right. I can see the love. I can see the fire. I need fire. I need fire. I need fire, guys. I need fire. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. All right, so let's just. I want to ask you a question, right? I was at Grow with IBK's event that you spoke at, and you did something that was amazing. 20 things in 20 minutes, even though you spent about 27 minutes. But yeah, it was fair. Yeah, it was good. But um okay, I switched my device, so my
Yeah.
camera is not very good, but I want to show my face why I asked this question. Um, you said something about being responsible for your outcomes. You know, we've talked about the fact that communities, collaborating with people, and stuff like that, which is really very important. You know, and people helping you to build your journey. I think that it gets to the point where you could have a lot of advices, a lot of advisors, and people who have different perspectives about what you should build, how you should go about doing what you want to really do. And you said something that a lot of people can play a role in your stats, like how you go about making your decisions. But you
Yeah.
are responsible for your outcomes. You can't say, was this person that led me astray? Was this person that said you should do like this and all of that? I want you to just talk about that in just about a minute or two for some persons here who are at that point where they really need to realize that some people have not built because people told them it's not yet time. People to them they are not equipped enough. I remember sharing an idea with someone. The person said, "How much do you have in your pocket?" And I'm like, "Of course." Um, there's always that point when maybe you need funds and all of that. But sometimes it's some people may be so extreme. They either push you on the wrong path or they ensure you keep sitting and never take action. I want you to talk about that for just a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, so I was in a session where Bukoshika was talking, and she said something very profound. She said, "Information are not instructions." So even though somebody can give you their opinion, you know, it's not necessarily instruction for you. Um, so I'll say this, right, and I would answer the questions in two ways, so it's not going to be direct. First of all, is nobody can really dictate your life for you at the end of the day, right? If you don't rely on somebody to tell you how to eat, when you put spoon in your mouth, when you wear your clothes, if you choose to cut your hair or not, unless you still rely on people to do that, but you know, you can't rely on people to make the toughest decisions you make in your life. And those are the most significant decisions you would make. When you're going to have to make those decisions, you can gather information, which, there's safety in counsel, right? So you can ask people who are experienced, get information from somebody who is, either like a mentor to you. Take all that information in, you know, and then you need to sit down yourself, decipher those information, and decide what you want to act on. And then whatever reaction or whatever outcome you get from that is on you. So you can't ever say, "Oh, somebody said." Why people always end up in the position of somebody said I should do this and I did this and it turned out wrong is because you only took information and acted on information. So there was no individual element of you making a personal decision. And if you ask those people, they always tell you that, oh, they never wanted to do it. If not, this person said, which makes no sense. So if you never wanted to do something, how are you going to do it and accomplish? Now, second part to it is if someone says you're not ready for something, right? You need to access where that person is coming from. And I also believe who that person is. Not everybody should speak over your life or speak into critical situations in your life. Not everybody has that jurisdiction unless you give them that power, right? So if it's somebody that tells you that you are not ready and how much is in your pocket, it has to be somebody that has influence on you. And this is not influence that is just sideways. Like, you've seen tangible influence. This person has given you clear counsel that has, impacted your life. I have people over me that if they tell me that, Sam, for now, leave this one, I will leave it. Do you understand? Because they're not coming from a place of trying to put me down. Some people give those instructions because they can't visualize you according to the vision that you're trying to walk towards, right? And they're just going to tell you that, oh, don't do this, because you're coming from a safe counsel. And at the same time, you have to take risks, right? Not everything you would do that would, like I mentioned, we spend a lot of time. If my co-founder Israel is on this call, on this Zoom meeting, he's going to tell you how many times we worked on Residently app for me to say we're not shipping this. So I believe that it's really important that one, you understand, don't give too many people power over your life to dictate the outcomes of your life. If you have anybody significant that you've trusted with track record over time, and that person gives you counsel, take some more time. To most times when they tell you they're not ready, it's not because they don't want you to do the idea, but they're trying to provoke something in you. So it means you go back, do the work, put in extra effort, come back to that person again and say, "Sir, I know you said I was not ready, but here's why I think I'm ready." Present factual ideas. Don't go based off of emotion that it's not fair now, but I told you I want to do this. Like, it makes no sense and it doesn't help anybody in any ways, right? So I think that I don't know if that answers the question, but I believe that if you're going to take information from people, don't turn it into express instructions for yourself. And at the end of the day, the only person who can really form or dictate how your life turns out is yourself and God. Because as a believer, I would put that element of, it takes God, our Lord Jesus Christ, to help you bring it to pass.
All right, thank you. So I have a lot of questions, but I think it's proper that I don't just ask my questions. I give room for people who already are here, who are the builders in that sense, to ask their own questions. So I'm going to quickly go on Slido to ask a few questions here, and then I'll go to the questions we had initially, and I think we'll ride on from there. So somebody's asking, Zeme is asking, how can you streamline your focus and stay on track with your goals in a fast-moving age of numerous communities and opportunities? How can you streamline your focus and stay on track? And I think someone here is asking, what online courses do you recommend for young people to take on their phones to improve their skills? Okay. Let me hear you. Let me allow you. They're not asking me, they're asking you. So.
Okay. How do you streamline your focus? So could you just and stay on track when it comes to community
Yes.
or general?
Stay on track on your goals, not
Okay.
jumping from one community to another, one opportunity to another, new ideas, new innovation, and stuff like that.
Okay. How do you stay on track on your goals? I believe that one is you have to be motivated on what you're working towards. If it's a goal, the idea of a goal, right? Let's use football. Even though I don't watch football, but anyways, let's use football. The reason why players want to score a goal is to win. If the element of winning was taken out of football, there is no value to the goal, right? So if you are working towards a goal, right, it means that there's something attached to that goal that you're aiming for. And to get there, you really need to stay focused. And I'll say this, right? People always want, some level of hack to staying focused. I think as a Nigerian, with the current way this country is going, I don't think they need to beg you to stay focused on your goals, right? The country is telling you. I think everybody is feeling it. So if you are sleeping and you are enjoying yourself sleeping and just not working towards your goal, there's pressure in the land, right? But in all real sense of it, that you need to be passionate about your goal. You really need to love what you're working towards. And I don't mean love in terms of it should be easy, right? When I mean love is that even though it's tiring, even though see, me, I'm giving up. I did give up 247, and I will be the same person that will tell myself that we go again. You have to be able to encourage yourself as much as possible. You have to be your number one fan, right? And also, surround yourself with people that you can be accountable to when it comes towards your goal, that they can always be that I have people that just ask me, how far this, and you would be on, on the hot seat. I think also towards communities, like I mentioned before, right? Don't join communities for community's sake, seek value, right? Let value be the reason why you're in that community, and utilize whatever benefit that is in that community. Don't be too. I think like there's one thing that I feel Nigerians like to do. We chase opportunities, but when we get into um, that room, right, we always then tend to, in quote unquote, form humble and not really run after the benefits that got us there, right? So there are people that, for example, is a common thing when Nigerians enter into a room, they will see front seats and sit at the back, even though the seats in front are empty. Why? Because there's just that, it's a psychological thing, right? People think that, oh, it's just, oh, I don't want to. Why don't you want to sit in front? Right? I sound like an usher, but anyways, it's the same thing, when walking towards. If you're going to be in a community, don't be in a community and just be one of their numbers. We have 1,000 people and you are number 999, right? Be in a community and strive to be a part of that community. Seek value and also push yourself, to receive value and also give value. So I think that answers that. In terms of online courses on your phone, I would say that I don't know what you want to learn. So it also depends on what you want to learn. If you want to start off with just gathering information, right? You have YouTube, you have Google, and now you have ChatGPT, right? You can start with just asking ChatGPT questions. What does it mean to start this? What does this mean? What is needed to, accomplish this kind of goal? Google it, click on links, read articles, start with enough free information, YouTube and all that. Then once you are able to identify the core thing you want to learn, like then you can leverage platforms like Coursera or Udemy. I think I would always recommend the Huddle, and this is not a personal bias because when you watch the Huddle videos, you hear people tell their stories. You hear people say they started as architects and they transitioned to this. People that went from brand design and now are doing set design and stuff like that. So they tell how they transition, how that how they evolved into where they are now, and they also talk about the learning steps that they took, right? So if you're going to use your mobile phone, I think start with free information first. Gather and gain enough insight and understand what you want to go into, and then just find online platforms that you can get those courses. And just to add, if you're going to pay for a course, make sure it has a certificate. Don't pay for a course that just has "thank you for doing our course."
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amazing, amazing. don't pay for it because thank you for. Well, good stuff, good stuff. And I think one of the things that I just adding to what you said for that person, when what I did prior to hosting you today was to think about who I wanted to model. Right, this is not a physical event. This is like an online event. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, and I thought I don't really know how this works. Right? Can I just go ahead and do, just assume that I can do it, or watch a few videos, learn what other people have done, make it interactive and all of that, and just work with people. I had to watch a particular webinar, and then I talked to someone and said, I want something like this, right? Why it's virtual. I want it to look beautiful. I want us to have like a very good setting and all of that, And the person was able to like put it up for me. So I think going back to what you said, there's a lot of resources out there. If you want to design your sitting room and you're out of ideas, go to Pinterest and you see 1,000 designs. If you want to become a fashion designer, there are platforms, people who show you how you can even learn how to sew online. It's like watching your madam in quotes in the physical office, but this time around she's online because she had like courses on every single step of the journey that you can learn and all of that. So that's over to you. So someone asked a question that I think I really want us to address. Very critical question. Onye said that in a world where there are so many people building a lot of amazing products that solve our problems or users' problems, how can one generate ideas on what to build and also ensure that the product or service is one that has lasting impact and is able to solve the problem of the target audience? And I think this is very, very important because as much as there are 1,000 amazing ideas out there, there are 10 times or maybe 100 times very ideas that never worked, that looked amazing from the beginning but never worked. So over to you. How do I get a distinctive idea, build it, and make sure it makes lasting impact?
All right. So so let's start from how do you get an idea? Usually, you know, these ideas come from day-to-day interactions, So let's assume why we have cars today. Because before cars, people were riding horses, right? But why the need to have cars when there were horses? Because most times when people think about products and you're thinking about an idea, and then you always feel like, but there's something already like this now. So, for example, you're doing Oganiru, and there's so many other people doing things like that, and you just tell yourself, oh, but somebody else is already doing this now. So, should I do this? But usually, it comes from you've identified a problem that you have a bit of, and I would say this like you have a bit of personal experience to understand that this thing is needed, right? you know, and you then take it upon you to say, you know what, I'm not going to wait for somebody who is already doing this to just do this exactly the way I feel it should be, right? I'm going to take a step ahead and then also build this towards this standard because there are people that need this at this level, right? There are people that need people that would come on, platforms like this and be authentic, and not just come and do motivational speaker and say thank you everybody, and stuff like that. So I guess like the idea should really come from, problem solving. It shouldn't come from I want to build an idea, right? It should come from problem solving because that's the only way you can really bring your own uniqueness, right, to it. If you just come from, oh, I just want to build an idea and you're taking a me too approach, you will always be behind whoever you copy because it's just going to be a replica of, a good example is there are fake iPhones out there, like there are Chinese iPhones out there. But despite those phones are cheap and they look like an iPhone, why is it that they've not been able to break ground? And and people are saying, what's the point of getting an iPhone from Apple when I can get an iPhone from this Chinese company? Same idea, same products. By the end of the day, right? There's something that Apple offers that you wouldn't find in a replica iPhone. And I'm not even saying Apple and Samsung because that's even another completely different paradigm. And they're both uniquely representing the problem they are solving and they're speaking to like the exact target audience that they want to reach. I think the next thing there is in a saturated market or in where everybody is building, right? I think it's really important for you to appreciate that everyone is building, but also tune out the noise because there are a lot of people that are building and they're just building, right? One of the most important things that you'll be asked when you're building, a product, especially if you want to build a digital product, you'll be asked who your competitors are. Now, that question is very critical because even if you've not built, you need to know who are the people that you're going to be competing with. And it's not going to be 1,000 companies. You're going to have to narrow down. When you narrow down in your competitive reference, you start highlighting key things that you want to have in your product, right? Or quick things you want to solve. You can either itemize them by features or whatever the case may be. And then you're looking at these other competitive references, right? And either seeing what they have, what exactly are their shortcomings, and then you're saying, oh, we want to build this, but nobody is building this. And then you look at it and say, okay, in all these products, right, this particular feature that we were passionate about, nobody is actually building it, or nobody has actually built it yet, because some people might be building and they've not just shipped it yet, right? Which means you either have the element of first to, initiate that idea into the public even before these larger guys, right? Or in before your competitors, right? So it's really important that you don't necessarily try to compete with the thousands of people. And also, how do you build it to, or how do you build a product that lasts long? A product that lasts long is continuity, right? It's not from day one. So the Microsoft of day one is different from the Microsoft of now, right? You can see what AI is now is different from Microsoft of day one. The Apple of day one is different from the Apple of now. Same product name, but they've evolved, right? Apple is now doing wearable tech like the Apple Watch. So they've evolved. So the only way you can build a product that can last a lifetime is continuous iteration, right? Because as people are evolving, there's AI. You can see like every one of the biggest buzz in consulting and tech, tech product companies is the rise of AI, and everybody's looking for a way to integrate AI into their business. It's not because of it's a buzzword or it's just fun. It's because it's actually digital transformation happening. We're in a state, in the technological sector where this new tech, right, is evolving every process. And you would be, not smart. You will be the Nokia that still wants to maintain, what you are rather than evolving into what is the current demand. So I just think that when you want to build for a lifetime, it's continual iterations. You can never build for a lifetime if you don't keep building, right? The moment you stop building, you stop innovating, you've stopped in that particular lifetime that you're in, or that particular generation or period that you're in, but it wouldn't scale, right? What we're demanding for in our generation, 10 years, 20 years to come, another generation is going to demand something else at a very different level, right? Now we're having self-driving cars. So it means in a few years' time, people are going to demand more for self-driving cars as opposed to driving themselves, right? So I just believe that it's going to build, something that lasts long. It's continuous building. Every day you keep building means that your product stands a chance to live, another day.
Thank you so much. If you want to build a product that lasts a lifetime, you must keep innovating, you must keep thinking, and you must keep building. You can't say I've built and that's all. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. I think this has been amazing. Thank you so much. I didn't think we were going to spend this much time, but really amazing. So I'm just going to drop for the last set of questions. I'm going to drop everything once. If you can answer them in like a minute or two, then fine. And then we'll call this a day. So I think this question is very important because two people asked it. So Omo asked it when she was filling out the registering for this webinar. And then someone just asked it again about how do you start your product design journey. I think it's personal for them. This is not about product design, right? But the people here, we have people who really think this is important to them. And I think it's important that we yeah, a product designer. Who knows who's coming next? I'm not sure our next guy is a product designer, but yeah. So how do you start your product design journey? And secondly, do you have any bootcamp you want to recommend? I don't know where Omo is. I think Omo is in Benin, and maybe you have some people scattered anywhere. Just for them. And lastly, when you're done with that, I want you to answer this question. So it's really something that I think is very important. So there are people who maybe they have tried several times and they have failed, and now they have lost their drive to ever build something, or maybe they are tired of building. Maybe they feel, some people may feel well, past the age of building, or I don't have that energy again. 5 years ago I was on fire, 10 years ago, but now it's as though there's no more energy. I don't know if you can just bring all of this together in just about 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay. So product design. I think like the most important thing if you want to start your journey with product design, you need to know that product design is a career, right? It's not it's not just acquiring a skill, right? So it's a career. it's you have to learn sequences of stuffs to get you into being a product designer. One, you have to learn how to create UI design, which means you have to go through the fundamentals of design as every other designer, right? You also have to understand user experience. Now, user experience has a lot of methodologies, a lot of process and approach documentations on that. So you need to really, really immerse yourself in user experience because user experience impacts, influences a lot of things across both, actual, building of product life cycle, stuff like that, the actual essence of the product. So you're not just necessarily just creating screens, right? The value of a product designer is not in just in screens. It's not about, oh, I can put color here and put circles here, right? It's it's more like you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing that vision into representation even before it's built by developers. So there's so much, depending on a product designer. So I think like one of if you want to start your journey as a product designer, I think like a good course I recommend is Google's user experience course on Coursera, right? You can easily apply for that. You can also just apply for financial aid, right? And pretty much do the course. That's a very, very detailed course that will set you, and I mean set you on the right, journey. And then it's continuous. Every day you keep working on yourself. As I'm a product designer, I'm still learning things, I'm still evolving. We're getting to the dispensation of AI, like I mentioned, that's been integrated into our day-to-day work approach, so you have to really, really also get accustomed with what the present day demand for product design is, and set a good foundation there. So I think that's pretty much what I can say on that. The next question is for somebody who has built and has failed, or feels like they've passed the age of building. What do I have to say to that? Okay, so I think like if you've built and you've failed, right? Let me put this from a different perspective. People see failure as an end, right? But usually failure is a stage. It's never an end, right? If you build something that doesn't work today, if you sit down to assess all the things that you've gathered from being able to build, right? When you start something the next time, you won't make the same mistakes, which means you are one step further to actualizing your goal than when you started, right? So I don't believe in failure. It might sound like a pompous thing, but I can never fail. There are stages where I might not get the desired outcomes. It's just like scientists. If you know one of the most funded sectors in the world is the health sector, and they have so many trial drugs that fail woefully, and they still keep getting funded. Why? Because failure is not the end for them. Failure is, oh wow, so we just realized that this drug, there's this thing that it does to people. Hey, okay, now we now know what we need to solve for. It's always a way for them to keep, innovating on what they are building, even sometimes at the expense of people's lives. Right? People who take the drugs and pass on to be with the Lord, and they will just say, "Oh wow!" They will even be testing on the body of the person that died to see, what could have gone wrong? Was it what this person ate? But they never take failure as, "Oh, stop this thing," or don't continue this thing, right? So I think like failure should never be an end to you. It should always just be like and I think like it's a stage where you need to call yourself to a state of reflection, right? So look on things that you've done, look on the mistakes you've made, right? Seek counsel, look for people that you can speak to about it. If you think and also in terms of age, right? I think like nobody is too old to build. And if you think you're too old to build, one of the things that I do a lot is I watch a lot of success stories on YouTube, right? Go and watch. I mean, you hear people like Elon Musk say there was a time they were homeless. You hear people say they were bankrupt, and right now they are still billionaires and they're still like building. So I believe that you need to learn from people that started late. If you're somebody that is old, somebody who started young might not necessarily speak to you. So find people who also started, at the level that you're at, learn from their stories, let it encourage you. I think like the most important thing you can do is to encourage you and give you, that sense. But at the end of the day, to whoever failed or to whoever is old and feels like it's too late to start, there's no one that would give you that sense of encouragement like yourself. You would only be, I think, like, if you give up, or if you do not put in um, the work, right? At the end of the day, you're still the one that is going to feel the impact of it, and sadly, also people that are attached to you. So find ways to, encourage yourself. You need to always learn to be able to encourage yourself out of different stages. Find good relationships of people that can do that for you. But most importantly, in the absence of people, you need to be able to encourage yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samuel. Can we just put a round of applause for Sam? I know he probably wouldn't be able to hear you clap for him, but you can just put it on the chat. Let's celebrate Samuel. Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of us on the chat, I shared Samuel's Instagram. Follow him. The challenge with Samuel's Instagram is that he never posts anything. But
So
I normally pay attention. You said what?
I said I'm changing. They are working on me.
Please, please, please. That would be great. But funny how that I always like to follow your stories. I follow your stories, and I follow the number of accounts because I saw your story. I checked them out, and I just okay. I would follow that as well. So thank you so much, Samuel. This was amazing, Samuel. I think we'll do this again. Some people are clapping for you. I don't know where the others are, but yeah, we are super excited that you had the time to do this for with us over an hour, 30 minutes already, and it's just super amazing. Thank you everyone for joining. I want to believe we had a great time. I want to see those the facts there. I want you to put it on the chat. It was good. If it wasn't good, tell us it wasn't good. I'll tell someone. He said it wasn't good though. But I think it was good. So just let us know how you feel, if you learned something. Super amazing. I think just looking at the chat from people's comment, it shows that this was really really good. Don't join communities for joining sake, criticize this. Somebody shouting, my goodness, amazing. So thank you so much. So next month, guys, we will be having this same event. I just decided that it was going to happen. All right, we'll do it again next month, and um, um, I'll be bringing in someone who's super amazing. His name is Binga. Binga, yeah, put Binga on the screen, please. Binga, I worked with Binga for about 2 years. I knew Binga a long time ago, and we started working together, beauty products together. I'd like us to put someone on the screen, Zacchaeus. Let's get someone on the screen. So we're almost done. I just want to tell you some things about Binga, so that by next month you should be ready for what's up. So Binga is the CEO of Ready. Check it out, REEDDI, and Carry Africa. Binga has raised over $500,000 on grants, right? When I mean grant, free money, building technologies for energy. Benga went to University of Ibadan, found his way on scholarship, free funds. Benga knows how to look for free money, right? And I think as a builder, there are a lot of free money out there that you can access, right? And Benga has mastered the art of accessing free money. I remember when we got the 75K dollars on a project. I remember we really told me, Emeka, you need to come for an interview on this stuff, and we went together, got the money. Just early this month or late last month, USAID gave Ready 250K or 200K or 250K dollars free grant, and being as master it. I want you to come share a story on how I started this journey. I has become a global impact person. He was one of the top 5 finalists for Moonshots the very first year, organized by Prince Harry. No, not Prince Harry. I think Prince Williams or something. And he's done amazing. He's done amazing. So I would love you guys to be part of it. Coming next month, you will see the flyer. We share the flyers to your emails. We have your emails now. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Thank you again, Samuel, for coming here. You are super amazing. Thank you for coming around. God bless you. Thank you, guys. I love you all. Let's do this again next month. Thank you, and God bless you. My guy, please give us some music, and then we'll be done. Bye, everybody. Bye, bye,
Thank
bye, bye. See you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.